Hey everyone, I'm doing the Souls Lessons Journey cards. Now, I have actually started the video again because it's completely cocked up. So I have shuffled them, and what came out was guilt. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth, and relationships came out as well. I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. Now, first of all, guilt. The energy of fear has many guises to complicate your path to loving yourself. Guilt is the most devious because it is a wolf in sheep's clothing. It is a self-imposed emotion that pretends to be instructive and enlightening. Guilt can help us grow when we realise that our actions have been hurtful to others and that we need to make amends. After we do so, though, it's time to learn from the behaviour and move on. The problem arises when we hold on to a guilty feeling that serves no purpose other than promoting self-destructiveness and low self-esteem. No one is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. Guilt is not always rational, but if you examine it subjectively, act on it and release it, it becomes a temporary emotion. Long-held guilty feelings are never good and will create a roadblock to self-love and happiness. You must continually scan your current emotions for any guilty feelings and bring them to the surface for analysis. Cat's having a mad one. What are you doing, Safi? You must continually scan your current emotions for any guilty feelings and bring them to the surface for analysis. Healthy guilt is a warning that action should be taken. Irrational guilt needs to be released. Now, I think I talked about guilt yesterday. My own guilty feelings for not getting up and doing some videos and things like that. And it was just an irrational guilt. I shouldn't feel guilty for taking time out for myself. But you have to look at why you feel guilty, because you give yourself guilt trips as well, and you shouldn't do. The world gives you enough guilt trips as it is, but finding out what is right to be guilty about and correcting, any past mistakes and things like that, that's the way forward. When you hold onto guilt, she's off. What are you doing, Safi? When you hold on to guilt, it can be a really bad thing, especially when there's no need to. You feel guilty for stuff you haven't even done. But then again, that goes back to conditioning as a child. Well, especially with me, anyway. I was made to feel guilty about all sorts of things that I've not done. But yeah, I felt guilty for the things that I had done. But I corrected myself eventually. Not just in the family, but friends and partners, they make you feel guilty for certain things, and there's no need to. Guilt trips. My mum does it all the time to me. For instance, that message that she sent me, the so-called apology, there was a guilt trip in that straight away. I can't remember how it started off. So something like, "Hi Carolyn, sorry for all the pain I've caused you. I'm just about to go for my chemo nap." Now, I've not spoken to her for years, and that instantly was just a guilt trip straight away to look at me, I'm poorly, feel sorry for me, accept my apology, my shit apology at that, no, and I don't feel guilty for not accepting that apology because it wasn't an apology. It was just a half-assed attempt to get him back into my life, with a big guilt trip as well that's attached to it, and I'm not going to play that, not anymore. And you shouldn't do. If you've got to feel guilty about something, make sure it's valid, for starters. If somebody's trying to make you feel guilty for the way that they've acted towards you, that's wrong. That's narcissistic behaviour. And it's the same as if you've done things in the past that's wrong, but you've made amends for it, and people try and still make you feel guilty for that. It's like old partners dragging up things, in the past. Oh, well, you did this. Well, we've got past that, haven't we? No, I'm using it as a guilt trip for you so I can control you again. you know. So always try and put the guilt in perspective. I know it's difficult, especially when your head's up your arse and you've got a narcissist there in your ear telling you one thing and the other, you know. It's very difficult to try and distinguish what's right and what's wrong. This is why, you know, for me, I had to get away from these people, because I could actually put my own thoughts back into perspective of how I should be thinking, not due to being controlled. But yeah, anyway, get off that one, Cat. Can I have that one, please? Anyway, that one was the guilt. So I think we've had this one before, relationships. I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good. So let's have a look. I've got to find it first. There we are. In this three-dimensional world in which we live, there is a sense that we are separate from one another, and also that we meet by chance. This is an illusion. The people in our lives are drawn to us, and and are here for a reason. It is through sharing experiences and having relationships with others that we begin to understand ourselves. When someone appears in our life, you must see what is not resolved or whole in the person and understand the lessons he or she brings home to you. You draw others to you like magnets in order to learn various aspects of yourself. The people you have close relationships with on earth are usually members of your soul family. You have chosen to incarnate together to help each other learn lessons, even though it may not seem that way to you now. Once a lesson is learned, don't be surprised if that person fades away. People are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. It's like I was saying, with the guilt, you know, people are there to teach you things, very much so. They can teach you good things, or they can teach you bad things, and it's recognising those in the first place. I mean, it's very difficult to recognise a person for who they are until you actually know who they are, you know, and if you don't know the warning signs, you're just going to take that person as face value for what they say that they are. And when things kick off and, you know, they start blaming you for this, that and the other, you start taking it out on yourself, thinking, oh, well, maybe it was me, you know, but it's not. It's the narcissistic behaviour that's making you think that you are the bad person when it's not, it's the other person. But those people teach you lessons, big lessons, big life lessons on who to trust and who not to trust, very much so, and how to trust your own self, how to trust your own intuition. You know, if something feels bad, then walk away. Really, really walk away and run. If it feels good, you walk towards it. You know, you keep it in your life. The choice is yours as well. You know, you don't have to be around these people. I know that there's family, there's friends, there's partners, but if they're being toxic and it's hurting you in the process, you know, mentally hurting you, it could be physically hurting you as well, you know, it goes in that direction too. You need to walk away because they won't change. They're there to feed off your energy, to feed off what they can get from you and make you feel that you're terrible in the process, you know. And they will screw your head up, very much so. You know, they've screwed my head up for very many years. You know, I look back and think, well, maybe, you know, if my head was a bit better, if I'd have actually learnt all these lessons at an early age, how different my life would be, you know. I may have my own house now, you know, I may have the most amazing job, business or whatever, you know. Especially my tattooing and things like that, you know, I think maybe I would have gone forward if I hadn't have been with a certain person at the time when I was tattooing, you know, when I set up the shop, you know. If I'd had somebody there that was encouraging and helping, then maybe, you know, the shop would have continued, you know, so many different aspects. But, you know, I can't worry about that anymore, you know, it's gone. That's in the past, and it should stay in the past. But I learnt my lessons from it, very much so. It's when we don't learn the lessons that we stay stuck. We stay stuck around these same people, these same patterns, these same toxic patterns, the same arguments over and over again, you know. It'll be alright for a few weeks and then all of a sudden it'll kick off again, and it's the same routine, the same set of arguments, the same accusations. and you're trying to do the same sort of, I'm sorry, you know, the same sort of procedures, and it just doesn't work. It goes round and round and round. People get stuck, and it affects you mentally, very mentally, you know, very much so. Anyway, I've gone off 10 minutes on this one. I think the coffee's kicked in at last. So anyway, yes, oopsie. Guilt and relationships. I hope that helped. Yeah, always trust your intuition. Always trust yourself. And if something doesn't seem right, if someone doesn't seem right, walk away. You don't have to be in their company. There's no law that says that you have to. You know, you have that choice to walk away, no matter what you leave behind. You know, if it's going to do your mental health good to walk away, you bloody walk away and you get your head straight. And I tell you what, you'll never regret for walking away. I never did. No regrets whatsoever for walking away from many people in my life, many toxic people. Obviously, I don't want to walk away from the good people. And it's actually nice that now that I do recognise toxic people, and I don't take their shit anymore, they do fall away. You know, they do leave you alone because they know they can't control you anymore, they can't manipulate you anymore, they can't use you anymore. They do realise this and they go on to somebody else. So these people will drop away eventually, but you have to make that stand in the first place and say, no, I'm not taking this anymore, you know, it's not right, I don't deserve this sort of treatment. And you have to realise that it's not actually you that is the problem, even though they make it out for you to be the problem. No, you're not the problem, it's them. Big time. And until they actually sit down and realise that they are the problem, nothing's going to change. But you try and tell a narcissist that they're the problem, you know, you're going to get shit back, you know, so much shit. So it's just easier to walk away. They're never going to get that penny drop that, oh right, yeah, I am the problem and I need to change. They just haven't got that brain power. It's not developed in them, you know. They have to develop that. Whether they can or not, I don't know, you know. I mean, there is these self-diagnosed narcissists that you know, do try and help other people. I don't know if it's for their own glory, like, you know, but, you know, they do turn it around and they do try and help other people recognise the toxic behaviour. So, you know, I mean, they still practice that toxic behaviour, so it's a bit of a contradictory thing, really. You know, I do watch a few self-proclaimed narcissists on YouTube. I think I've even got a couple on my playlists on this channel. They are very interesting to watch, but you can see the narcissistic behaviour and just how much they like doing it. Just because that's what they do, that's who they are, that's how they get their results. And unfortunately, it's us empaths that take the brunt of it and end up losing our lives, you know, in some cases, very much so, whether it be because of the toxic partner or because of our own mental illness, and we want to end it all and try and commit suicide, you know. I've tried to do that many a time, and it's a shame, it really is. There's been people that I know that have lost their lives, you know, because they've just been brought up in a toxic environment and they didn't know how to escape. And it's such a shame, you know, such a shame, these people losing their lives. And it needs to stop, it really does. But it stops with us, you know. You can tell a narcissist that they're a narcissist until they're blue in the face and they'll attack you for it. You know, so you can't do that. The easiest and best thing to do is to walk away. And it stops, it really does stop, and your head can just get clear and move forward and heal. And it's an amazing thing. I never thought I'd heal, but I have. Maybe I've not healed all the way, but I have healed a hell of a lot from what I used to be. I don't self-harm anymore. I don't get suicidal thoughts anymore. But that's because all that toxicness is gone. I'm sure that if I was still in that toxic environment with those toxic people, then yeah, I'd still be wanting to self-harm and wanting to end my life, because I wouldn't have realised the way out. But I have realised the way out, and that is just leaving the toxic people to their own devices and to get on with my own life away from them. But yeah, that's the way I've done it anyway. And I know that a lot of people have done the same. So, you know, I mean, there'll be people out there wondering, well, should I not? You know, I'm going to lose all this, or am I going to cope on my own? You know, if I've got a family and things like that. You know, if I've got kids, I coped on my own. I mean, maybe not very well at times, but I'm coping better now. I know. If I'd have known all this shit back along, you know, years ago, I would have coped even more. You know, there would have been so many different things that I wouldn't have done that was detrimental to my own health and my own life. If I'd have just known about toxic behaviour, excuse me, and toxic people, and spoke up about it then, you know, and actually stuck my ground, and actually, instead of being manipulated back into thinking that it was me that was a problem, stuck my ground and thought, oh yeah, it is them, I need to walk away and I need to stay away. Yeah, it took me very many years to sort that out and to figure that out and to do that. I have the strength to do that, but once I got the strength to do that and I've done it, I'm a completely different person, and it's brilliant, it really is. I couldn't have asked for a better thing in life, especially at my time of life, you know. Anyway, I'll stop waffling now. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this helped. So have a nice day everyone, and bye bye.